Thursday. Time now for me to mirror your thoughts to the rest of the world here on Joy News Interactive. We are live on Joy News on Multi-TV, DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. I'm Benis Abubedo. It's going to be a nice ride today, so just get settled and let's start. Drop your comments on the issues on our Facebook and Twitter. We use the handles Joy News on TV. First on the bill, it's been 3 weeks since the Ghana Post GPS was launched, and it's been a subject of many debates with former President John Mahama and Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia throwing jabs at each other.
Launch a Google GPS system that is freely available on our mobile phones. I say it's a national addressing system. You know, and it's such a pity. You know, why will you embarrass the president so much? You go and take a whole president and bring him to launch a system that is essentially 419.
Yesterday, I read that the former president has a 419 scam. When I read his reasoning for such a description, it became very evident to me that he has no clue. It is not money finding itself into the pockets of a few cronies. We did not spend it on guinea fowls or bus branding or overpriced mansions and contracts or ghost roads. We have spent it on something productive. If the former President Mahama can take care and some time just to read and learn about it.
Well, so there you have it. Let's get your reactions to this on our Facebook page. And Humphrey Dutsmore says, GPS that can generate different addresses for the same household. Is that one to GPS? Currently, we are 4 in the house, my sister, my mother, myself, and my brother. We all have different GPS addresses. Each one said he or she is comfortable with their own. One house, 4 addresses. I run Enter Bulga Market. I think that the argument or the defense of the communications ministry to it is that within every 5 square meter, you have a different address. So if you have quite a large house, you definitely have different addresses. So yeah, Letitia Dazi says, yes, after I enter my name, phone number, I got a message that I have to use a code to complete the first step. After that, I don't know how to go about it again. If you open the app, you notice a test that goes about from your room to get the location, and she thinks is a useless app. Today we are just finding out from you how many of you have logged onto the app, or how many of you have downloaded the app, and the experience you've had so far. And the conversation actually started on the AM show today, and we're just picking a few comments to that here on our Facebook page. Benin David Techi says, please, was the app made for Android users in Ghana alone? If you don't use Android, you cannot use the app because it's only on Play Store. Really? I'm not sure. I use an iPhone and I downloaded the app, so I'm not sure what Benin is saying there. Maybe his experience, I don't know, but I got mine from the App Store. So yes, if you use an iPhone, you can get Ghana Post GPS. I don't know. That's his experience. I'm also just sharing mine. And Ebenezer Tete says, you have data to waste and send it to me. Sorry. Gold Mine Solution Consultancy says, it's a great app. I've been using it since it was launched. I have experienced a different address only once, but upon a second and subsequent try, I got the same address. And Marjoa says, well, she hasn't downloaded the app. She's not using it, and she doesn't plan to. Koshimalko says, well, where would I use it, or for where? And Yawintiama is saying the media should rather tell us about it and tell you our experience. Interesting. I have downloaded the app. I'm yet to use it. Not because it's good or bad, but because I haven't really had the need to use it. Emi Kweje says, yes, and it's working perfectly. I mean, it's a really great app. And Bernard says, my Google Map is enough. So yes, yeah. Nanake says, in my opinion, the Ghana Post GPS is good. It does better than Google Map, but it needs updates, and I'm sure apps are usually updated periodically. Yes, they are. Those who talk negative about it do not have it on their phones. He claims people should stop exposing their ignorance. It's good, but not the best. I believe we shall get there. There are 5 replies to that. Can we just quickly see what people are saying about Nanake's comment there? David Church says, no, it depends on Google Map. When you get a location, tap routes, it will automatically open the Google Map. Okay. Richard Kumar says, it's never better than the Google Map. As a matter of fact, the app depends on the Google Map. And Mauli says, pathological liar. And they go on and on. I'm just talking about someone else's comment there. Chris Addy says, I stood outside and I did it. I'm sure he means he tried to get an address, and some numbers came. I was told this is my digital address. So what would I use it for? If someone is coming to my end, can't he call me, take a car and come? Is this what my tax was used for? And he's mentioning some figures there, $2.5 million. I'm not sure that is the exact amount. Al Hassan Abubakar Swalihu laughs and says the value is the same, no different compared to Google location, which already exists. So a lot of people that are sharing their experiences with the Ghana Post GPS app there, and someone calling for some updates. I'm sure developers of the app are listening, and they definitely have promised to bring updates. Moving on, Americans went to the polls on Tuesday, November 8, 2016 to elect arguably the most powerful leader on earth. The race was basically between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Most people thought Mrs. Clinton will emerge winner, but Mr. Trump beat her to it. In fact, I remember that day very well, where I was. I could hardly sleep. Now, it's been a year since Donald Trump was elected as POTUS. How will you assess his presidency? It's been quite a dramatic 1 year, hasn't it? Deron says, well, I'm not an American. Leave it to the Americans to decide. No American thinks of our president to talk of assessing him. Akpalu Akpa says, what kind of wahala is this? Am I an American? All right. Says, getting a visa plus visa lottery is a problem. And that's why we are even asking you to assess him, because a lot of Ghanaians, if I may say, will be affected if he's able to go through with that decision to scrap the U.S. visa lottery, and a lot of Ghanaians are in the U.S. as a result of that. Samuel Adler says, would you rather we judge him when he became or ascended the throne? And now, I'm not sure what Samuel is trying to say. Junior says, we are not in the United States, we are in Ghana, and we are currently dealing with the issue of an app. So please don't take our minds off domestic matters, all right? Joe Dunyo is also asking if we are in the U.S., and a lot of people don't seem to have a reason to talk about the presidency of Donald Trump. But trust me, as it is, he's a president of America, and quite a number of his policies will affect us worldwide. And that's the reason we are asking you here on Joy News Interactive. I remember last year we asked you who you thought will win, Donald or Hillary. And a lot of people thought Hillary was going to win, but well, Donald Trump won, and he is the president of America. We'll take a quick breather. When I come back, we'll be doing more throwbacks. Please don't go away. Thanks so much for staying here on Joy News Interactive. It's a Thursday, so we're doing a couple of throwbacks. A year ago, around this time, when I say we, I mean Ghanaians, were getting ready for the 2016 elections. There was a lot of tension. People were anxious. And well, for our throwback for today, we want you to tell us what was going through your mind around this time last year. And we have a lot of interesting comments there. Atu Edu says what was going through his mind was to vote for Nana. Maxwell says, I knew Nanado was going to win. Drizzle says, I don't want to remember the donkey job I did for one politician. It's better to stay away from politics as a youth and strive for our own success. These politicians, oh, really, refers to the Animal Farm story. There's 6 replies to that. Around this time, Drizzle is sharing with us last year, while we were preparing for the 2016 election, he was working for a politician. Evans Ejay Dakwa says, You made me sad this morning. I also remember how I risked my life for a political party and an MP who is now a minister. Well, he doesn't even know me. And he adds, I'm from Chibi. I'm sure that's to give you a clue. The MP he's talking about. And Drizzle, all right, is replying to David. David, we would like you to keep your comments very civil when you're commenting on issues on our page. Moses Dennis says, some people don't understand politicians, so they always lament. During elections, the politicians need something from you, so we'll be calling you. But when they win power, they don't answer your calls because they don't need you. Now, you need them. Kwabna Otufua Otu says, I need you on board to start something on our own. Interesting. Drizzle says, I'm working on things. It will be better very soon. He says that in Pidgin. It will be small time. Emmanuel Kojo Ansua Jaman says, I could have shot Mahama if I had the chance. Ajekum Frimpong Filippo says, change. Oh, sorry. I shouldn't have read that. Yes, I shouldn't have read that. Sorry about that, former President Mahama. Sorry to all of you who are offended by that comment. Emmanuel, we won't appreciate this. We don't actually appreciate this. Apologies for reading that. Ajekum Frimpong Filippo says, change. And Umaria says he's waiting patiently for 7th December, or he was waiting patiently for 7th December around this time last year to vote out sufferings from his life, and his vote was counted. Selon Peter says, yeah, around this time last year he was thinking about how the NDC won't accept defeat in the upcoming election because it was clear everywhere that change was inevitable. Bismarck Power says, only a noise of Bahama paper in his head around this time last year. I will pick a few more comments. Flash Commotion says, Mahama go smell pepper. That was what was going through his mind. Sebastian says, Davi's goat soup with Kobe Okrustu added and Bangkung. Oh, interesting. And Bismarck Sapon says, I enjoy the Hollywood movie star J.D. Bahama entertainment shows. A lot of sarcasm there. And Evans Kojo Ajaman says, every year should be an election year because he really enjoyed the euphoria. And Tugby Zomelo says, Atipo John Kwashi, keep quiet and suffer. And Araba Smith says, I was preparing to vote for Nana. Hey says, I was seriously looking for a life partner around this time last year. I can see your photo. Is it a wedding picture? Did you find the partner? I hope you did. Emma Zamponsa says, I was thinking of whom to vote for. But Nanado was the one that I always saw in my dream. Interesting, yeah? Some people dream before they vote. Kwabna Poko Ajiman says, I was thinking how we can overcome the NDCs or stop the NDC from rigging the election. Nana Kwabna Trump says he was thinking that the MPP was winning. And Edward Piasa says, well, around this time last year, he was thinking that Mahama will surely lose the election. And Eli Klim says, am I the only one expecting Mahama to lose the election? And David Etieku says, thinking out loud, please. Kelvin Tepe says, was thinking of how to boot the then government out of power. I prayed so hard, and God listened to my prayer. Akwesi Shapiro Idrisi says, around this time last year, I was confidently waiting for the news that will put the incompetent government away for good. And when it happened, I was so excited. Sefa says, I was thinking if we could get a change. It was tough, but I'm getting disappointed with the high rate of insecurity in the country. Armed robbery here and there, hooliganism and vigilantism here and there. And something must be done now, especially in the Upper West region, he says. But let's still stay on throwbacks now. Still around this time last year, something was trending. Can you guess what it is? Well, I'll show you what it is. If you guessed right, yeah, I have a gift for you. Just send me a message on Facebook if you guessed right. But how would I even verify you guessed right? Anyway, so this one was trending last year around this time. Yeah, we just had, during the election period, there was a lot of issues on the Calipo challenge going. You can see all those pictures trending. And there you have it. Interesting photos. So that was the picture that actually got all supporters and fans of President Akufo-Addo supporting him in the Calipo challenge. There was a photo of him drinking Calipo. It went viral. And you know what? His supporters and fans says, why not support our own? So there you have it. the Calipo challenge. A very interesting challenge it was, trust me. I think it was one of the best hashtags that trended last year. Hashtag Calipo challenge. Very, very interesting. And there you have it. So you can see Miss Eddie played there, Samira Baumia. And yeah, is that John Boyd who I see? Yeah, that's him. Freddie Blay, Samira Baumia, John Boydu, and Madame Eslo Wusu there, also joining in the Calipo challenge. So we are quickly going to take some of your comments on, this trend that happened sometime last year, around this time. And we'll be sharing those comments right here on Joy News Interactive. Diron says, it reminds me of your affiliation to the MPP. Whose affiliation to the MPP, Diron? Because I'm not affiliated to any party. Markweku Boating said, that was the time talking was cheap, no responsibility. All right, they talked anyhow today, they've increased everything. Wobble David says, some people were taking a comfortable lead. Wow. To brew Onapo, 44.4% bitters. Bangura Francis says, it reminds me of a time when Calipo was cheap in Ghana under the competent Mahama administration. But has the price of Calipo changed? It hasn't. It hasn't. Bangura, it hasn't. I mean, this is fact. It hasn't got anything to do with being a supporter of any party. The fact is that the price of Calipo last year at this time and this year now is still the same. Bayer Jeremiah says, it reminds me of 170 questions at the time. Still waiting for the answers. Eric Wundong says, one of the propaganda that got Ghanaians scammed. Nasir Hassan Yayuma says, it reminds me of the good old Onapo days, Calipo fever. They're still comfortably leading anyway. And Al Hassan Abdul Salam says, when the wind of change caught Ghanaians by storm. I Chairman says, it reminds me of the current president of this land. Barack Trolu said, theater players who joked their way to power. Bayal Stevens says, that was when all animals were equal. And he's laughing at his own comment. Very interesting comments there. Get onto our Facebook page, Joy News on TV. I'm sure, just to ease the tension sometimes. If you want to have a little laugh, just visit our page, look for that photo and pick some of the comments there. I'm Bernice Abubedu. Thank you so much for your company on this edition of Joy News Interactive. Do take care of yourself. Hopefully tomorrow we are back with another edition.